Join me as I do a taper fade for my customer. Today is another good day to remind you that barbing is not as difficult as people make it seem. The first thing I did when I wanted to create this taper fade for my customer was to create a skin level. That skin level is the beginning of the taper fade because he wanted his first level to be a skin level. So I closed my clipper all the way closed, and then I created this skin level for him. I tapped it very little because this is a taper fade. This is not a mid fade. The next thing I did was that I opened my clipper all the way opened. That is what I'm doing now. When I opened my clipper all the way open, now I want to fade on that guideline I opened. I closed my clipper. I tapped on that guideline I created. I closed my clipper all the way closed. I opened my clipper mid open. Then I opened my clipper completely. That is just what I did now. You see me trying to minimize the space. Then I brushed. Remember, as you barb, you brush. As a beginner, to know where there is an unnecessary hair for you to remove. The next thing I did after I've done that was that I wore my step 1. And I personally went up by 1/4 inch. But I would not advise you as a beginner to go by 1/4 inch up. Do you understand? When I created that guideline with step 1, the next thing I did was that on that guideline I created, I closed my clipper all the way closed. I tapped on that 1/4 inch I created. That is what I'm about to do now. Look at me tapping on that 1/4 inch I created. That is it. My clipper was all the way closed because I'm trying to adjust that line I just created. I opened my clipper halfway. I tapped on that inch I created with my step 1, and I opened my clipper completely. I tapped on that 1/4 inch I created with my step 1. Normally somebody would have left this hair like this, but no, I went in back with my step half. The importance of this step half is that I want to make that place I created with my step 1 look neat at the end of the day. Because line that you tend not to observe, or hairs that you tend not to observe or you overlook, that is what makes your fade messed up. Do you understand me? So try as much as you can to follow the steps of barbing for you to acquire good fade. When I was showing my step half, and that my step half, I closed my clipper all the way closed. This now, I'm using the edge of my clipper. I opened my clipper all the way open. On that place, I used my step half. I used my clipper all the way open to tap with the edge. Please, not the complete blade, the edge of the blade. When I was showing my step 1, I went higher. Look at me just tapping very lightly with my step 2. That's a step 2. I'm tapping very lightly. I'm not removing the whole hairs. I'm just removing necessary hairs because this is a taper fade. I went under the step 2. Under the step 2. I used my step 1.5 with my clipper all the way open. With my clipper all the way opened. Please, under the step 2. You cannot use step 2 and then use step 1.5 above the step 2. That's going to be crazy. This my method of me using my step 1 and not allowing the step 1 to sit well on the blade. That has always been my method. For those that have been watching my video, they understand that this is my method. And please, if you would like to practice this method, put it down that I would like to practice it. Or if you don't understand it, put it down on the comment section that I do not understand this method. Please explain it for me. I am willing to make another video for you to understand. That is how much I want you to learn for free in this my page. Do you understand? So I used my step 1 on my clipper, but the difference is that my step 1 is not sitting on my clipper blade. You know that when you carry you see the way I positioned my clipper the first time, it was going up. Now I want the hair to sit properly. Now I will bring it down, and when I'm bringing it down, I want to fade one side so you would see what taper fade from one side looks like. When you're bringing your clipper down towards this position, your clipper is always all the way closed, not midway, not opened, all the way closed. I used my step 2. My clipper was all the way closed. I used my step 1.5 under my step 2. You underline the word under the step 2, because step 2 is bigger than step 1.5. All the way closed. I used my step 1. That is under step 1.5. It's all the way closed. Please, you cannot use a bigger step above. You cannot use a smaller step, above a bigger step. That is why some of you guys, you're blending, end up not making sense. Because you use the bigger step above. Use the smaller step above the bigger step. You will barb with step 1.5. You will not carry step 1 and barb above the hair. It's very crazy. Do you understand? You see now, the hair is making a lot of sense. You see the fade, it is making sense. For those that think that I don't carve with powder, please, I carve with powder. But the difference between my carving with powder and your carving with powder, I can decide not to carve with powder. I can still decide to carve with powder. In this my video, I carved with powder. You see the way the fade is making sense. Please, you see how precise I am. I'm very precise with my customer's hair and the amount of hair on a particular position. If you do not understand this, I will make a video again to do this. And there's a secret I want to tell you about barbing taper fade, is that before you fade, you carve. That is a big secret. That's another level of neatness in fade. Before you fade your hair, you do line up. Like, if you ever try to fade, if you ever try to line up your customer's hair before you fade, when you're through fading, oh my God, you'll be so surprised. You see this carving I'm doing now, I'm using powder. You see that powder on my hand, I'm using powder. But the difference between me and a beginner is that when I carve with powder, I clean. The essence of using powder to carve is not for when you carve your customer's hair, everywhere will be powder. It is to remove an unseen hairs, make hair to easily remove from that direction. That is the concept of using powder. Powder is not for design. Powder is not to, if you finish barbing your customer's hair, there will be white at the front of his hair, white at the back of his hair. The concept of powder is to remove an unnecessary hair. And when you carve with powder, you clean the powder immediately, like the way I did. Then you would know how long your lineup is going to last. Do you understand me? I will let you watch the remaining of the video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, watch my video, love my video, or like my video, comment on my video, so YouTube can throw it to those that actually wants to learn barbing. Thank you so much, and bye.
对你停止触动了，你又能记住我多久呢？为什么连做梦我都会哭醒？